This video is going to anger you. It's going to show you some pretty bad visuals, some images and video that you're not going to like. And frankly, if you're going to be offended by this, that's good, because you're still human beings, and more to the point, you're still Americans. Now, in the previous video where I talked about the Youngstown rally in Youngstown, Ohio on Saturday, September 17th, about how loyalty, Marjorie Taylor Greene talked about loyalty to Trump, I alluded to the fact that there were those people in the crowd in Youngstown who were saluting Nazi style to Donald Trump. I don't know why I'm showing you this. No, actually I do know why I'm showing you this, because quite honestly, this needs to be shown and this needs to be understood for what it is. What I'm about to show you is about 3 minutes of footage from the Youngstown rally. And everyone in the crowd, during that point, while Donald Trump was waxing nostalgic about all this would be happening if I were still your commander-in-chief, all of them holding hands like this. Now, this isn't for the number one, as in your number one, Donald Trump. All of them were holding him like this. And I'll explain as to the origins of that later on, but I am so very sorry for showing you this. But here it is. This video is from Youngstown, Ohio, the Trump rally. It's only 3 minutes, so I apologize again for showing you it.
Country, Ukraine, killing hundreds of thousands of people, and it will only get worse. It would never have happened with me as your commander-in-chief, and for 4 long years, it didn't happen. And China, with Taiwan, is next. We are a nation that has weaponized its law enforcement against the opposing political party like never, ever before. We've got a Federal Bureau of Investigation that won't allow bad election-changing facts to be presented to the public, where Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation when they knew it wasn't, and a Department of Justice that refuses to investigate egregious acts of voting irregularities and fraud. And we have a president who is cognitively impaired and in no condition to lead our country, which may end up in World War III. We're a nation that no longer has a free press and has no fair press any longer. Fake news is all you get, and they are truly the enemy of the people. We are a nation where free speech is no longer allowed, where crime is rampant like never before, where the economy has been collapsing, where more people died of COVID in 2021 than in 2020. We are a nation that is allowing Iran to build a massive nuclear weapon and China to use the trillions of dollars it has taken from us to build a military to rival our own. And just 2 years ago, we had Iran, China, Russia, North Korea, and all of the rest in check. They weren't going to do a thing against us, and everyone knows it. They respected the United States, and they respected America.
Given the fact that not only that everything he said there was wrong, but everyone was holding their hands like this. Now, it's bad enough that it's happening. It's bad enough that fascism is trying to make a comeback, especially in this country, and being egged on and being celebrated by a former, God, I can't believe I'm going to say this, a former president of the United States. It's bad enough that that's happening, But what's really bad is the simple fact that he's encouraging this. He's loving it. He is making the most of all of it. And frankly, it is sickening. It's bad enough that what happened in Charlottesville, the Unite the Right rally, where neo-Nazi and Ku Klux Klansmen were screaming, "Jews will not replace us," all the while wearing the MAGA red hat. It's bad enough that that happened, and now it's getting worse. Now, the origin of that symbol there, you're about to see. Now, that video I'm about to show you is from a rally featuring Republican governor candidate Doug Mastriano of Pennsylvania. You're about to see, and this video obviously is credited to the Lincoln Project, but take a look at what this is here.
Putting our right hand in the air on the count of 3. If you're willing to do this, can you say what they said at Gettysburg? When you see us lined up as one, sweep down the hill to victory. On the count of 3, we'll bring our hand down as one. Father, I pray that indeed Pennsylvania will be like Little Round Top, and America will have a new birth of liberty. As one on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. As one!
He was directing the people at that rally the salute in a manner that we haven't even seen. Like, all right, this is where it's going to get offensive to all of you. We haven't seen anything like that in this country ever before in the world, except for one point in a time frame when this happened.
Ab! Und die Entbehrung, das fragen wir nicht. Bei Diktaten wirken wir nicht mit. Sie mögen ein Diktat als Diktat uns aufoktroyieren.
And of course, in case you don't know, that was Adolf Hitler speaking at the Reichstag, with crowds screaming "Sieg Heil" every time he took a break from speaking. Now, I want to read you something real quick. This is from New York State Senator Anna M. Kaplan. Now, she condemns the use of Nazi salutes by political candidates. Now, as much as I want to believe that this will make some sort of difference, it's not going to, but here's what she says. Following the rallies held this weekend by former President Donald Trump and Republican gubernatorial candidate Doug Mastriano of Pennsylvania, where saluters were instructed to salute in a manner not seen since the Heil Hitler salute used by the Nazis, Senator Anna M. Kaplan, Democrat of North Hills, issued this following statement, and I quote, Senator Kaplan said that last night, a rally held by the former president and today by a political rally held by a candidate for the governor of Pennsylvania, supporters were urged to hold up their right hands in a unified salute that should shock the conscience of every American and its remarkable similarity to the Heil Hitler salute used by the Nazis. I talk a lot about the importance of learning the history of the Holocaust so we don't repeat the history's darkest chapter ever again. And the horrifying images from those events remind us that we have a lot more work to do yet. I call on every American to join me in sharply denouncing the Nazi symbolism and imagery anywhere in our political processes, and I call on these campaigns to immediately end the use of this shocking salute in their rallies, unquote. With all due respect to Senator Kaplan, that's not going to happen. You're forgetting who we're talking about. And I say this with all respect, Ms. Kaplan, you're forgetting who we're talking about. You're forgetting that we are talking about people who see Donald Trump and the Republican Party who supports Donald Trump, the Republicans who support him, the MAGA, as the new strong man in America. The fact is, this sickens me. It sickens me because now a friend of mine, now I've mentioned him before, keeps reminding me that the members of his family fought against the Nazis during World War II. I'm not annoyed at him for saying that, and I'm not annoyed at him for telling me that repeatedly, because that's something to be incredibly proud of. Family members who fought for freedom. Members of my family fought in the Second World War, believe it or not. When I see Americans act like this, saluting, whether it's the full-fledged Nazi salute or the modification of the Nazi salute, it makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me sick to my stomach because these people claim to be Americans. They claim to be Americans. What exactly is American about saying, basically not saying Sieg Heil, but basically giving the salute to say, not you're number one, but that you're our man, you're our leader, you're our Führer. You might as well call Donald Trump Führer Trump. Not President Trump, Führer Trump, as in the Führer Adolf Hitler. You might as well call him that now. And it makes me sick to my stomach seeing that shit. It really does. I thought we fought a world war to end fascism in this world, to end the next Holocaust after the Jewish Holocaust that Adolf Hitler pushed. The same Holocaust that Republicans, note the use of that word, Republicans don't want taught in schools. Merging Taylor Greene, I'm talking to you. Lauren Boebert, I'm talking to you. Louis Gohmert, I'm talking to you. Ted Fled Cruz, I'm talking to you. Along with everything else they don't want taught in schools about American history, the real American history, not some modified, romanticized version of it. The real history. The true history of this world, of this country. But when I see, and the sickening thing about this is that that Donald Trump supporters are making every excuse in the book to excuse this crap. Just as they made every excuse to excuse Charlottesville. Just as they continuously excuse and make excuses for January 6, 2021. Enough is enough. I will not tolerate this crap in my country. And if you're real Americans, you wouldn't tolerate it either. But let's get straight to the point before I close out this video. This should tell you exactly what Donald Trump wants. He doesn't want to be president of the United States, a position he's voted into democratically in this constitutional republic. He wants control, full, complete, absolute control. And let's not forget the fact, put a pen in the speech saying this wouldn't happen if I were president. More people died under COVID under Biden instead of me. We all know that's a lie. We know that's a total, complete falsehood. And considering what's going on in Ukraine, you're probably right. It wouldn't happen under your watch because Putin wouldn't do it under your watch. Honestly, I think he would have done it on your, me personally, I think he would have done it on your watch, and you wouldn't do anything about it. So don't try to feed us those lies. But but this should tell you right now, and because it's screaming at me in my head right now, I will never, ever, ever support Donald Trump. If you put a gun to my head, say, vote for Trump or I'll blow your brains out, Phillips, I will say, I voted against Trump. Pull the trigger, motherfucker. I will never support fascism in my country. Members of my family fought against fascism. Whether it was World War II, whether it was Jim Crow in this country, whether it was the White Hoods, of the Ku Klux Klan. I will never support fascism in my country. You will have to blow my brains out before I ever, and I mean ever, do that. Donald Trump and a lot of the Republicans in this country have embraced fascism because in their minds, it may be the easiest way for them to get elected or reelected or whatever. So they're going to tap into the base that is the most sick, the most destructive, the most evil in this country. It's basically shaking the hands of the devil to become an elected official in this nation. That is a price that is way too high for me to pay. And if these were any real Americans, the people I mentioned, Gohmert, Boebert, Green, Flynn, Trump, any of these assholes, if that's how you want to win, by tapping into the fascists in this country, the people who don't do this, who do that, but also do this, that to me shows you got no balls, you got no ideas, and you are not American in my eyes. And a lot of Americans, the real Americans in this country, speak out against these people. Speak out against them, because if we do not, the American flag will be taken down, and the Nazi flag, or a variation of the Nazi flag, possibly with the T or the R in the same kind of fashion as the Nazi flag, will go up. That is something I don't want to see in my lifetime. I don't want to see ever. In my lifetime, in my family's lifetime, ever. If you're the Americans you say you are, and honestly, I don't think you are. But if you are the Americans you say you are, speak out against this. Online, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere. Get on the street, screaming on the street corners. Because this country is going quicker and quicker and quicker towards fascism. And Donald Trump is the one at the wheel of that. And he's got an entire army of idiots out there willing to do the dirty work for him. We can't let that happen. Fight with our votes. CTP, know the truth. You know what? There's one more thing I need to say. Maybe a little Winston Churchill, we just adjusted to this occasion after what we just saw, considering the fact that when he said this quote, when he said we shall never surrender in World War II, now we find ourselves almost in the same place in Europe that Europe did at that time, surrounded by Nazis. Even though even though large tracts of America and many of its old and famous states have fallen or may fall into the grip of the Trump Gestapo and the odious apparatus of Nazi rule, not American Trump Nazi rule, We shall not flag or fail. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in California to Washington, D.C., to Florida, all the way to Washington State. We shall fight with growing confidence and growing strength in there. We shall defend our nation, wherever the cost may be. We shall fight in the beaches. We shall fight on land. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight from building to building. We shall never surrender. Fight with our votes. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.